Hey everyone, this is not, again, an official episode of my show or anything like that. This is just something I wanted to make to talk about a little bit about this week. It's not going to be super political, although I'm going to touch on that kind of stuff a little bit, but it's mainly to talk about why I left social media as far as Facebook and Twitter goes, and then also, like what kind of my plans are now and in this weird crossroads I'm at in my life, what direction I might want to go in and stuff like that. So hopefully, you stick around for a few minutes and listen to what I got to say. So first, let's just talk about this week. Obviously, it's been a very emotional week for a lot of people, and I sympathize. I understand what it's like when we feel that progress it has lost. And I know a lot of people blame me as someone who didn't vote for any of the main two candidates and went third party. This isn't the first time I voted third party, but I voted I voted for Obama both times. I think my first presidential election actually was in 2000, and I voted for Alan Keyes. I wrote in Alan Keyes. I as a young 18-year-old who was trying to find his own voice and not listen to the noise. I did as much research as I could, and Alan Keyes was one of those guys that I was like, okay, well, I kind of, as the where I was mentally at that point in my life, I was like, okay, I kind of see some of his views, didn't do a lot of research on him. Ultimately, later on, found, okay, maybe that wasn't the best vote or whatever, but I still, I choose from that standpoint. I think everyone votes with their conscience, whether they want to, and the weird thing is I was being attacked for voting for from my conscience. And a lot of people, I think everyone does that, right? Everyone votes from their heart, their what their mind is telling them, what they believe, and what they, sometimes people vote just in opposition, and that's fine too. Whatever your reason is, if you voted, that to me is a victory in of itself, because that is you using what you have. That is you using your voice. And some people think I used my voice in a bad way, because they think people like me who were on the fence and who didn't just vote the lesser of two evils and chose to vote, what they thought was the lesser of four evils, was wrong. And I'm not going to argue that. It's a good point, and it's a point of view I've had in the past before. It is a point that I've yelled at people for not voting for the main two. So we all go through that point in our life. That's the point of growing and evolving as a person, is you look back on what you've done before, and if you feel it's a mistake, you try to right it. And I have done some shitty things on social media as far as silencing people and going too far in the SJW territory and going too far in, and becoming an extremist in some ways. There was a tweet out there once, I think, where I said, I hope Donald Trump gets shot. This was way back, a couple months ago, or not a couple months ago, but I think it was like earlier this year, like at the beginning of the year and stuff. And that's horrible. I feel it's not reflective of me truly, to say something like that. I feel like a lot of that stuff was said out of anger, in the height of passion, not truly my beliefs, like a lot of us do online. A lot of us just speak from emotion because we are an emotional society now. We've evolved into that, where a lot of us wear our emotions on our sleeve and we don't like to hide how we really feel anymore. And that's a good thing, ultimately, I feel. And I'm not really mad at people who try to vilify me this week because I voted third party. I'm not mad at them. I'm hurt because some of them I thought were friends and stuff. But now I know how that feels. To me, it's karma. I've deleted people on social media for less than something this big and the future of our country. I've done for less, and I'm sure those people felt just as hurt as I did this week. And maybe there's a part of me that some people might say, oh, you're a coward for leaving social media. Leaving social media wasn't just because of this week. It is something I've been wanting to do for a while with Twitter and Facebook, because I'm kind of on them frequently. Not Twitter much recently, although because the app hasn't really been working on my Windows phone that well, so I end up deleting the app. So there's been some disconnect and distance from me from those two, from Facebook and Twitter in the past couple months. I haven't posted as much as I normally do, but there are people who perceive some of my posts as whiny, as complainy, as like me trying to get things and trying to get like people to give me stuff, and hearing that is hurt because I know it's not true, but it is stuff I've thought about myself. Oh, looking at my, like what I use social media for, what I use Twitter for, was before I used to keep journals of what I ate, what I did, what stressed me out that day, how much sleep I got, how much pain I'm in, all that stuff I used to keep in a journal when I first got back, because I didn't want to share that stuff openly on social media. It took Dan Harmon asking me a couple times before I finally agreed to come on to Harmontown to share how I feel to people. And I saw the reaction some people had was a positive one. Dan told me, if you come on here and speak about your life, you may help somebody who's in a bad place. And that happened. And I was shocked to see it, honestly. I was like, I'm nobody. I'm a moody piece of shit sometimes, and something I said affected somebody's life. And that was like the most awesome thing that could have happened to me. And so it caused me to start sharing, and I stopped taking the journals and started posting how I felt, what I ate, what stressed me out, all that stuff on social media. And then there were times where I realized, because I bring that stuff to my doctor, that's what I used to do with the journal, and now I brought Twitter and brought my phone, and I would scroll through and go, all right, on this day I ate a hamburger at noon, but by 5 p.m. I had a headache. And he's like, well, why? And I go, I don't know, it doesn't say on Twitter. So I go to Facebook. Oh, it looks like I didn't get paid on time, or I was worried I wasn't going to get paid on time, and rent was due then 2 days from then, and I didn't have a check in my hand. So I was freaking out because I'm prone to panic attacks and anxiety attacks and all that stuff. So it elevates, but I posted about it, and we found the connection. Okay, so you got stressed, that made your head hurt, 2 hours later, it made the pain grow. So it was a way to look for patterns, and that's what I use social media for. But I realized that it comes across as just like a complainy mess, and it's stuff that maybe is reserved for something like a journal, and something I probably shouldn't share everything with people. And I've thought about this numerous times, so that's why the past couple months I've tried to cut back on posts like that. I still do it out of default mode, but I've tried to cut back on stuff like that, and then to see stuff like those things and what I felt that I was doing wrong on social media get thrown in my face this week. It again, maybe I was like, okay, I'm shocked by this and it sucks, and I want to say like, hey, screw you, you dumb asshole, like that, this isn't fair. But at the same time, I look, stepping back from it, I'm like, well, maybe this is karma. Maybe this is what, not that I deserve to be punished or treated like that, but neither did some of the people I have excluded and shut down on social media before either. So it was a big eye opener for me, and I'm trying to grow from that experience. So the way I want to grow right now is to separate myself from those communities, because like I said, I was going to delete them anyway, because I stopped doing that, and I'm going back to the journal thing for a while, and I'll just whine privately, to my journal. But social media is just something I need to detach from, because also it's a distraction. I get caught up in too much stuff on there, and so a lot of it's unnecessary, especially when I should be using that time and some of the other time I have that some of the little free time I have to finish this book I'm working on, to ship out more Kickstarter stuff, to pay attention to things that really should matter in my life right now. And I know that sounds selfish and it sounds awful, but I am not giving up on the things I believe in. I still believe in equality with people. I still believe that everyone should have equal rights. I still believe in all these things that I'm gonna keep talking about and promoting and getting out there. But I think I might find a way to say less and do more. And I think having less social media accounts will help me do that. It'll help me stop sitting behind a keyboard and just saying stuff, and try to do more, make more videos, go out and interact with more people, try to find a middle ground with the people that maybe I disagree with, and then also try to find the joy and the good things in the people I do agree with, and try to elevate that. So that's my plan. That's what I want to do from now on. If I can, I don't know how to do a lot of this stuff. Like I know it's just words right now. I'm trying to figure out how to put it into action. So there will be some varying things coming on my YouTube channel. I'm going to try to keep it light and fun, and just reviewing movies and games and all that stuff on my channels here and on my gaming channel. But I do want to still have these kind of conversations, like I did with the sexual harassment stuff with Eddie Berganza on my last video that I made like this. I still want to talk about how in comics, how African American and other minorities aren't represented in a positive way. These are things that I like to talk about because they're important stuff. But I'm not, at the same time, I don't want to categorize people and just deal in extremes. That's what I think that pit I fell into, a pit that a lot of us fall into, is that the world is black and white. And even though people will swear up and down, well, I don't think that way. Yes, we all do. We all do. And it sucks. And we're not going to make any real progress like that. So I need to find out what that means for me, what I can do to help more than just say I want to help. And that's ultimately where deleting social medias like Twitter and Facebook comes from, is because I feel like without that distraction, it'll cause me to go out and interact more and actually do things that maybe cause change as opposed to say things. So that's my goal. Hopefully you guys stick around with me with that. I really appreciate all you guys who have subscribed to me on this channel. It really means a lot to me. I'm trying to grow this channel, and I'm trying to grow conversation to an extent, but also mainly I just want my channels to be fun. There's a lot of crazy shit going on in the world, a lot of things out there that are real issues that we will talk about at some point. Intermittently I'll spread them out, but ultimately I want my channel to be a form of escape. I want people to come here to hear about a new movie that came out, or a new comic book, or a new video game, or whatever. So that's ultimately the hole I want to carve here. But in the real world, I want to go try to do more if I can. And if there's any suggestions, anyone out there who is looking for help to do more and be more active in their community and stuff, and you looking for other people to help you out, send me a message. I would be happy to take anything into consideration of trying to help people. And that's ultimately what I've always wanted to do. And even though I've been a shitty person at times to people in my road and path to where I'm at now, I'd like to think I'm in a better place now to where I maybe actually can help people, and maybe I'm a better listener now. And I'm still, going to be flawed. I'm still going to make mistakes. I'm still going to be judgmental at times, and I'm still going to maybe get angry at times. But I'm a human being, and hopefully that doesn't, push us away from each other, because that's not what I want to do, and that's definitely not the stuff I write about in my art, and the stuff I try to paint myself in is not someone who likes to disconnect with people. And I feel like I have disconnected with a lot of people recently, so I want to get back to that connection. So let me know if I can with you, and hopefully we will. Thank you so much for watching my videos. Hopefully you like, hopefully you subscribe, hopefully you share, and I have some really fun stuff coming up. So don't worry about this heavy video here. If it was heavy for you, I just wanted to just speak my mind and say that this week has brought out the best in some of us and brought out the worst in some of us, and it certainly hasn't brought out the best in me. I still struggle with a lot of things. I'm still in this weird lost gray area of shock and maybe disappointment and stuff, but at the same time I'm trying not to let that fully remove me from people like I used to. So thank you very much for watching. Have a good day.